Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps. It is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back with you once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where obviously we're rewinding Raw because we take no nights off. And because of that, and because we're in the Art of Streams, I can't do it alone. You gotta have the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey yo.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, what are you doing?
I thought someone was opening a door.
Oh,
I was
you're like,
gonna
get
wave.
out.
I wave.
Leave.
I have a rule. I have an open door policy wherever. When I lived at school, this is a funny story. When I lived in Connecticut when I was at Quinnipiac, my senior house, we had like an open door policy. We never locked the door. Whoever came in. And it got to a point where people from like the women's hockey team were just coming over at like the most inopportune times, like during guy time, and because they were friends with one of my other roommates. And it got to the point where we were watching something, and I didn't realize that any people were there except the people in the lobby, the living room. So I just hear these girls just run upstairs, and they're just like, all right, bye, like trying to say bye to us, like acknowledging that they were there. And I like screamed, and I was like screaming, and then they just slammed the door, and I looked at my friends. I was like, we got to change the locks on those doors.
Yeah.
So that's my funny story of the day, Sara. Because
that was really funny. Thank you.
You know what? I hope the peeps in the chat thought it was pretty funny. Because that is just one of my many, many stories from not only college but life in general, Sara.
Okay.
It's not about finishing your story. It's about continuing it. All right, there we go. A little sappy to go into. Hearing from our peeps. David said, "What's up?" 3 times.
What up? What up?
David, different David. What up? We got the unhinged main event fro. Oh, is this new? Like this new setup?
That. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you changed it. Okay,
I know. I like it.
I do. I like that it's different.
Yes.
Bernard, what's poppin'? And then we got Vinny. Good day to you.
Vinny unfollowed me on Twitter.
What?
I know.
Vinny, you got some splaining to do.
I know. I don't know what's going on here.
I don't even know if Vinny follows me. I don't know any of my followers. I'm getting random followers. Apparently, the CEO of the East Coast, Peep number 7, it's literally Peep7 is his username, followed me. No idea who he is.
Oh.
And then I got a random one today. I'm getting followers. It's great. And
look at
if you guys in the chat don't, go down, okay? In the links in the description below, all Sara and I's social media profiles to go follow us. I have to disappear sometimes. What are you fucking?
He is David Blaine. So he is Chris Angel.
Now, have you ever seen the
Chris Angel makes more sense because he's in Vegas, so
it's true. Or he's Batman.
I don't know.
I don't. Could be Bruce Wayne up in this bitch. I don't know. Yeah, but enough of that nonsense talk, Sara, because we got other nonsense and shenanigans to talk about. We kind of have, this is our first time being back. Saturday was weird. And then, well, because it was the goddamn pay-per-view. But then also Sunday, weird day too. I was out, not feeling it. And then, whatever you call it, we had Monday was the show, and I forget why really, but we're back. All right. All you need to know is that at least 2 times a week, you're going to see our faces. All right. We're trying to grow a little more, doing things a little different to see how we can grow this channel and get the most out of it. All right. So thank you for everyone who stuck with us through the ride. That's all we got to, obviously got to shout out those loyal ones. But we're back. That's all that matters. And so is wrestling for the most part. But I think you and I can agree, Sara, that I wouldn't say dipped. That's the wrong word because it means a decline. I would say we plateaued in our excitement level. Heading into King of the Ring, after Mania, whatever you want to call it, the current state of WWE, and not in a bad way, but to me, it feels like WrestleMania was so massive, and we got the change, we got the the new era feel. We're pretty much down to everything, and now we're in the first pay per view, and it's King of the Ring. It's a little, doesn't it feel a little, not as bad, but you're just like content.
I think that's just kind of how it is, though. Like, if you think about it, the way that the NFL is, I would say it's like the same thing. Like you have the season, and then theirs happens a little differently because obviously they end their season with the Super Bowl, and the WWE doesn't have like an end of a season. You can't even see my hands. An end of a season. So their Super Bowl is WrestleMania, but then it's like, okay, so after the Super Bowl, for the most part, it's like the dead part. There's free agent that picks up a little bit, the draft picks up a little bit, and then it's like it's dead until the preseason. And I kind of feel like that's where they're at in wrestling. Like, it's just everything for months is the lead up to Mania. Everything is about, okay, what are we going to do for Mania? Everything that they're doing is, how is this going to make sense, and how are we going to make this work for WrestleMania? And then after that, it's like, yeah, of course they have plans because there's backlash and whatever. But I think that because Backlash was just last weekend, it feels like King and Queen of the Ring happening right away. It just feels very rushed. And then they're trying to like put all of the qualifying matches on Raw and on SmackDown.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a lot going on. And so it's kind of hard to get excited about. But I think, yeah, it's just there's not a whole lot going on right now, but I think that's just the name of the game. Like, it is what it is. It's probably not going to get super exciting until maybe like around SummerSlam or something.
Yeah, it does feel like a secondary pay-per-view, King of the Ring in the secondary pay-per-view. It's it's not as exciting as obviously the big four, but you're a fan, you watch, and you're entertained, and you're in it for that. So I could see I agree with you there. Yeah. So all right, let's move on to we'll say Backlash for the end of the show. Let's start with that, Sarah. You can take us
Okay.
with that.
Yeah, it might not let me click on these again. So
If it
that's
doesn't, just hit up the champ. I'll tell you that.
yeah, it's because I have to use my laptop today that the internet is going to be annoying. Anyway, okay. So what matches they were going to have for the King of the Ring tourney, and one of them that I was very excited about was Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. But that's when we found out, basically, I don't know, it was like an hour before the show, they have actually not cleared, so he will not be participating in the King of the Ring tournament tonight. And I don't, part of me wonders if this was the plan all along, just based on the fact that they then replaced him with Jey Uso, or if this really was, we think he'll be cleared, and then he wasn't, and so we have to take him out.
What a cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger. I'm interested to hear what she has to say too. I really am. I can kind of go off that. Cause all right, hold on. Let me just do this. All right, let's remove Sarah until she comes back. So Jey Uso coming in. Yeah, she's gone. Okay. So yeah, it kind of what Sarah said. You got Jey Uso coming in. You don't know if it's the plan all along. We didn't know the severity of Drew McIntyre's injury going in, so it could have been a ploy. But the one thing that I noticed from this was that the whoever Finn Balor was facing, they won. Okay, so Finn Balor was losing that match. If that's the case, then I feel like it was more long term. All right, I feel like it was more long term that they were ploying at this, because it doesn't make sense for Drew to just like win one and whatnot, like have CM Punk screw him immediately and you're not going to get to the finals. I don't know. I wouldn't really seen him in the finals. But yeah, I'm rambling here. Another thing I wanted to bring up from this, while Sara figures it out. Oh, Steiner, you gotta pause. I can't have the Steiner math promo going there. What up, bro? Sara left, or her internet crashed out, so it's me. I was very disappointed that Finn didn't win this. I wanted Finn to win this regardless. Because after the Judgment Day opened up the show, and I almost called him Prince Devitt, but Finn Balor, Sara's back. Hello. I was just describing to the peeps why I thought Finn should have won this match.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so first I want to say I feel like it almost feels like this was supposed to happen, like that they weren't supposed to have Drew in this match. That's what I was gonna say. It feels like this was planned all along. But I agree. I think Finn should have won this match. I'm confused.
Here we go again.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. Jesus Christ, dude. It's not even like my internet. The internet is fine. It's StreamYard. Like StreamYard always gives me issues and it pisses me off every single week because I'm just like, I don't understand. But anyway, I don't understand what they're trying to do with Finn. Why, like, basically since they took the tag titles off of him and Damian, it's like I understand why Damian has gotten the push that he got. He was money. He had the Money in the Bank briefcase, so they had to figure out something to do with him. You can't just like give somebody the briefcase and then it's like, okay, that's it. Like we're not going to do anything with it. But Finn is too good to be sitting on the sideline. And
Sarah, so are you. You're too good to be on the sidelines. Let's get StreamYard to friggin' figure it out. He is too good to be on the sideline. Okay, I think this. Oh, okay, we're not there yet. Sarah's probably losing it. Oh my word. I'm just laughing at this because this is just like, what are you gonna do? This is live television, baby. Yeah. So all right. So let me continue where Sara left off, so we have some sort of continuity here. He is too good to be on the sidelines, and that's why I legitimately think that he should have won this match. And honestly, kind of had I would say not a win in the King of the Ring. It's absolutely Gunther's tournament to win. But I think you could have had him deep into it because you have to put him on the Saudi show, or at least I think you do. You should have. And that promo that he cut with Judgment Day, okay, the promo that he cut. Yeah, let me invite Sara back. Yeah, this is Sara calling me right now. And it's not. Hey, I sent you the link. Okay, bye. Okay. Yeah, you need to have him on. You need him on the show. So you need to find him doing something like that. And the promo that he cut during it was so good. And I mean, he was just saying like the line of when a prince turns into a king. I mean, right there. That's a line where I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Yeah, let's go. You know, I'm ready for it. I would like to see a Finn Balor run. Maybe throw him in the Intercontinental picture. All right, maybe have him feud with Sammy after a little bit. You know what I mean? I think that works. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I'm so dedicated to the craft, y'all.
I love the dedication. That's what makes that's awesome.
This makes me so annoyed. But so you're gonna have to do the everything.
That's what a champion does, Sarah.
So anyway, what I was trying to say is
Yeah, so I think that with Finn, they have been teasing something going on between him and Damien. Obviously, there's like tension within the Judgment Day, so it's like this felt like a prime opportunity for them to like let Finn win this match. And like I was saying, it's not like he was necessarily going to win King of the Ring, but because there's this tension with Damien as the champion, it's like, well, it would have been fun to see more of that happen with Finn beating Jay, because also like Jay doesn't need to win. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
And based off of who else is in these matches, nothing against Jay, but I would want to see Finn against those guys more than I'd want to see Jay. Like I don't really want to see. I'm going to watch it, but like Ilya versus Jay, I would have much rather seen Ilya versus Finn Balor. Like that would cook, and now we're not going to get that. So that kind of bums me out a little bit.
It does. I would have liked to see Finn in those. Like Finn fits that style more.
Yeah.
You know, like I just that's what I don't get from this is that this is a tournament for Finn to shine in to a point where okay, he may not win and get a world heavyweight title shot, but maybe he pulls a Daughtry and you have him fend for the intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's other ways to win a tournament without hoisting the trophy at the end of it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I would agree with you in that regard.
Yeah. So because of that, because of Drew being out, that's when we see that Finn thinks that he got a first round bye, which
It
I
was
love.
so funny.
And
What?
that's when
Who's that?
Adam Pearce comes out and is like, no, you're gonna face Jay Uso. So of course we kind of already talked about it. Finn versus Jay, banger. It was a great match, but Jay Uso, of course, has to come out on top because that's just the life we're living in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so he advances, and we'll talk about the rest of the King of the Ring stuff. But I think I have a banner about Drew and Punk.
You do.
Okay.
It is the next one because Drew McIntyre kind of interfered here in the
Yeah.
match.
So Drew decides that he's going to leave the arena, and I just love how he gets into like a Batman, like a Batmobile, like just casually. He's just like, I'm just gonna get out of here,
It was
y'all.
just waiting for him. It really felt like it was just waiting for him.
Yeah, and then he leaves. Punk pulls up in his little whatever attempt to be like, I'm just a real dude. I drive.
That was an old fashioned car. That was an old fashioned car.
And he was bummed, I guess, that he just missed Drew, and then he goes out into the middle of the ring and is just talking his crap, blah 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 blah. So, also the main thing I think that people were taking away, which I don't know if people like, I know that there are people who don't like CM Punk. I'm not a big fan of Punk. Obviously, I've talked about that, but the way that people were talking about his comment about choking people out, and that it was like a hit on Jack Perry. Like people were kind of freaking out about that and being like, "Oh, he said it, but it didn't work. Like no one caught on." And I'm like, why are we making this such a big deal? I just think that it's like the people in WWE basically never say anything about AEW. They never say anything about anyone there. They don't say anything really at all. But the opposite happens in AEW. They say stuff about WWE all the time. So I think it was more so of people who are like AEW fans who were just mad about Punk or something, because it just felt really weird. Because you could tell it didn't seem like a planned comment from Punk. Like it felt like he just took a moment there was an opportunity that he like accidentally presented, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna make a joke to Pat," because that's like that's all it was.
That's literally all it was. It was just like he knows when he can get a cheap pop. That's why he is a 5-tool player, as he described on the show. Like he's saying this stuff because he just wants to get a cheap pop, and he knows that he'll be talked about, And if you notice who most of those accounts are associated with, we'll say, who they have in their handle, like you already know. So
yeah. So people were coming for him just because like it didn't get that reaction. But I'm like, but you also have to remember that like I said, they don't really take shots at the other company that often. And if you're like a really big WWE fan, you probably don't know what was going on, in AEW. You don't necessarily know all the drama that Punk was allegedly involved in. You know what I mean? So it's like I
don't care.
Well, and that's the thing. If he was just trying to me, it felt like he was just trying to like make a joke with one of his friends, and then one of his friends happens to be one of the commentators. You know what I mean?
That's basically what it was.
I don't think it was meant to be like, oh, haha, Punk just said something about Jack Perry. It's like, all right, like I don't know.
My scapegoat.
Yeah, so they're continuing Drew and Punk, and I'm wondering when we're finally going to be able to see it. Hopefully, Drew will be good to go by Clash of the Castle, because that would really suck if, like, there was an accidental injury to him at Rumble, and then Drew gets accidentally injured at Mania, and then he misses that. That would really suck, but
I think it's him sitting out now is them preparing for Punk McIntyre Clash of the Castle, because he even name dropped it in the promo.
Well, the thing that is, well, I think that if that is it, then I was wanting to see it be maybe it could be like a triple threat against Damian for the title. That's the thing. Like I want him to be able to potentially win the title at Clash of the Castle. Like I don't want it to be just him versus Punk, because to me that would be like, are you gonna really have Drew lose in Scotland? Because I don't see them like having Punk come back and then Punk lose. But I don't know.
There's a way. There's a way that can be done.
There should be, but I'm just not sure. Like,
Look.
But what I also thought was funny, and I even said it like out loud as I was watching it. Punk was saying that Drew can't stop talking about him and blah blah blah, and I just was like, I said it on here, and I'm like, he had to keep you relevant, bro.
Yeah.
Like I know that he's just using it because it's a character, but I'm like, I don't think that people realize like he had to do that. He had to keep talking about Punk, or people, not that people would forget, but they might have, because he was gone. He was here for such a short amount of time, and then he got injured. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see like how this ends up coming about eventually. So I think that's a little bit.
I gotta watch the promo, Drew McIntyre's promo online. He posted a video, promo. He posted a video online. I'm calling it a promo, but he posted a video online, like response after Punk on the day after Raw. I just haven't watched it because.
But then he's just burning the photo.
I think so. Was that it? Was he in the yard?
I don't know. He was just burning the promo photo. He didn't say anything.
He was walking. I forget. I gotta go see it again.
I haven't seen that. No, I thought you meant
Okay.
he burned the signed photo that Punk left him. He posted that.
Oh, okay. I'll check that out. I haven't seen that either. That's what I'm saying. I've just been like,
yeah,
crazy.
It's always good about like showing you, like updates like in a timely manner. So.
Yeah.
I don't know what the next banner is, so.
Well, we're gonna switch from kings to queens, Sarah.
So we're gonna talk about all the Queen of the Ring matches. So they have three throughout Raw. They announced that they told us that Zoe Stark versus Ivy Nile was gonna be at a house show, and then they changed their mind. So it's gonna be Shayna Baszler versus I believe it's supposed to be at a live event, but we'll see. So we first see Io Sky versus Natalya, and the one thing that I did like about all of the matches that they had for the tournament was they all got time.
They all did.
Even though there was a lot of them, and they were all able to actually like put on good matches. Like, because when you hear Io Sky versus Natalya, you're like, okay, but it was actually like a really good match, so that was cool.
It's nice that they're getting time to showcase, and have a match because it's Queen of the Ring. This is when you want to be having those types of matches, and it feels like, and No, it feels like I just saw this tweet. That like the 2021 Queen of the Ring tournament, there was a total of like 9 minutes for the whole first round,
Oh wow.
and this match alone got like 11 or
Mm-hmm.
12 minutes. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's the difference we're seeing in this era.
Yeah.
That you actually don't mind seeing Natalia on your screen if she's giving you a good match and she's going, going toe to toe with Io Sky. It's that type of thing.
Well, and it also makes it feel like winning means something, instead of it just being like, oh, we're just gonna put you guys out there, you get a 2-minute match and whatever. Like actually having them fight it out and have to have these types of matches in order to advance in the tournament, it does make it feel like, oh, they want to win because it's valuable. Like they actually see a reason to want to win instead of it just being like, yeah, okay, you're gonna go out there, you get 2-minute matches, you're gonna win and whatever. Like this made it feel there was something worth fighting for. So, and I would say that was how it was for most of the matches. We saw, I think this is another one, Zoe Stark versus Ivy Nile. Not a wonderful match, not bad. I'm still really confused about the downfall of Zoe Stark. Honestly, I don't really get like how she was paired with Trish Stratus and was active on Raw basically every single week in a feud with Becky Lynch, and then once that ended, she kind of like fell flat. I don't really know what's going on there, but it is what it is, I guess.
I would say for that, to me, it just feels that there was this lull period, and this is a chance where she's going to be a star. Like they're gonna make her a star with this tournament.
Maybe. I'm not like, I will see, because she could win. I don't know. Because she did beat Ivy Nile, obviously. I think everyone knew that was going to happen.
I wanted Ivy to win.
Well, I mean, if they're trying to make, like, Ivy can win it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she doesn't need the win.
Make Zoe into something, then she has to advance right now. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were supposed to see Asuka versus Lyra Valkyria, but then we found out that Asuka is injured. So now it was Dakota Kai versus Lyra. And this was a good match too. I think part of it is probably also because they both came from NXT. So like, when you put two people from NXT together, they generally are going to put on a really good match. And not that I was completely surprised, but I was a little bit surprised that Lyra won. Only because, they're trying to still make Damage Control a thing post Bailey. So it feels like having Dakota win would have made sense. Like Lyra just got called up. This was her first match as a member of the Raw roster. So it's not like, oh, if she lost this, it's like a big deal. You know what I mean? But
I agree. I want to see the bracket because
right here.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Yeah. So
okay. So yeah. Oh yeah.
We still have to wait for Shayna versus Zelina, but the quarterfinals right now are Io Sky, and she will face either Shayna or Zelina, and then it's Lyra versus Zoe Stark. The other four matches are from SmackDown, and we don't know who's in them yet. So
okay, because that's what I was trying to figure out. Because if Dakota and Io were to face each other like the next round, then I could see that being an issue. Maybe yeah. There's a lot. That's the thing with this type of thing. You can't. There's a lot that you could predict. There's so many different things that like it's nice. It's It's like March Madness again. It's nice.
Yeah. Well, and I guess if they're gonna keep trying to make Io like kind of be the leader, like she's the leader but not the leader, you know what I mean? I mean, she was the leader, so like that kind of makes her a leader. Then it makes sense that she's gonna be the one. But I wouldn't have been surprised if it had been Dakota. But regardless, at least we got a good match, and we know that Lyra versus Zoe is gonna be good too. So
agreed.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I wanted to bring up something with this match. Oh,
I don't want your butthole on camera. I'm sorry. Sorry. It's Remy. Because Cat. That's what Cat. Okay. All right.
No, you're fine. No, what? I'm laughing. What?
Oh. It's hard. You're so small on my phone.
Sorry, I am not small. All right, we're
Calm down.
we're big boy. I'm trying to find really only Vinny here today. You know what, Vinny? I'm gonna bring up. You know what? I'll bring up Lola Vice for you right now. All right, because she did face Natty. That's the other thing with this Queen of the Ring tournament is that Natty's doing double duty, and her A story is actually going on in NXT right now with Lola Vice, which I honestly think it's a fantastic feud.
Well, and I've seen like good responses to it. I think it's still a little early for Lola though. Like I don't think she should be on the main roster right now.
Oh, 1,000% agree. That's why.
Well, says bring her up. Did he just mean like talk about her or like bring her to the roster?
That's a good question, Sarah, because I took it as bring up as in talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But
I will always talk about Lola Vice here. Okay. You don't have to tell me twice. And she's an ass kicker. Like that's the thing too, is that's why it's good for her to be in a feud with Natty right now in NXT. Because you're getting that feud with a veteran. You're getting exposed, put on in a bigger light.
Yeah.
I'd say. And she's crushing it. And obviously you could be like, well, Pitch, you just like when she shakes her booty. It's like, no. All right. Have you seen this girl's kicks? Like, absolutely insane. And her training videos are not just her posing in a bikini. Like, she's legitimately kicking ass. Like, I think she's someone you watch out for right now. He said from NXT to Raw.
Yeah, that's why. Like she's not ready yet.
Poquito temprano. A little too early. Do you have anything else to say about Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria?
No.
I don't either. This Raw was all about King of the Ring.
Yep.
I had a friend that was trying to go, and he was like, "Is it worth it?" And I tried to convince him yes, because these were good matches.
Yeah. Well, and you knew that they would be good matches. So
Quick question before we get to the next, because this is actually a good topic. Would you rather go to a show where it's like this, King of the Ring, mainly matches, or go to a show with mostly segments and backstage stuff?
Matches.
Okay, good. All right, because I feel like there's some people.
That's why you're going, because like all the backstage stuff, like that's stuff that you can see on TV. You don't need to be there to see something on the Tron. You know what I mean? Like you go because you want to see the wrestling in person. You want to hear it. You want to be a part of the crowd. Like you want to be able to cheer. You want to be able to boo. But like, oh, there's a talking section backstage. Like, yeah, okay, I could see that on TV at home. I don't need to be in the arena watching it on their TV,
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I agree. Thank God. All right, because going to that Raw before Mania or one of the Raws before Mania with Soar, like obviously Electric Raw when you get Cena and Cody, whatnot, but like there was like no matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Soar loved it, but I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Give me dudes kicking each other's ass. Give me Dom. All right. Dirty Dom, Sarah.
Yeah. So Dom pulling some antics. I feel like he's really testing Damien's patience since Rhea's been gone, because not only does he have the nasty mustache, he also keeps trying to bring in some new people, like Santos Escobar and Carlito. basically having already told them, like, yeah, we got your back, like, we'll do this, whatever. And he hadn't checked with Damian. He didn't check with JD or Finn. And so he's trying to do that again with Carlito. And Damian is just not having it. And I'm like, Dom, I feel like he's just not reading the room. You know what I mean? Like, you just saw what happened when Finn and JD tried to help Damian retain his title and how pissed off Damian was. Then how pissed off he was at the Raw before. And then instead you're like, you know what? I'm not going to try to like get on his good side. I'm going to bring in some more people and hope that we will help them so they can help us. And Damien's just going to be cool with it. Like, come on, dude. Like, really? So it does not surprise me that Damien was just like, get out, like, leave. Why are you here?
I loved that Damian remembers Backlash.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's good to see continuity.
Yeah.
Because before they'd be like, oh yeah, he's cool, bro. And Damian would be like, you better be, bro. And then that's it. And there's just no remembering of things, no memory.
Yeah. Well, and that was because that's what Vince wanted you. Like, he wanted you to have such short-term memory that you would forget what happened a week ago. Like, he would want you to forget that he started a feud last week and that this week we've already moved on. Like, that was how it was. But at least with Triple H, it feels like, again, there is purpose to everything. So that is nice.
Yeah, that's really not there. You forgot a bang. I almost said you almost forgot a banger, but you forgot a banner, by the way. The main event.
Gunther and Sheamus?
Yeah.
Really? Oh. Whoops. Okay.
How
did I forget that?
Oh. Because you were so lost in Gunther's eyes and look and pose that. What were you saying?
I said, yo, yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. You were there. All right. But don't worry, because we're switching back to the men's side of the King of the Ring tournament. Not talking about Gunther and Sheamus main event just yet, because we do need to talk about this. This match fucking slapped so hard.
Okay, I was getting nervous, okay, because I love me some Ricochet, but brother, you did not need to win this right now. Okay, you just became the WWE Speed Champion, even though that means virtually nothing. You know, Ilya could not lose, but I thought that they were going to potentially have him lose because he was kicking out to things that, like, Ilya put people away with in NXT. So I was like, holy crap. But it was one of those things that I was like, okay, I respect it, because I feel like Ricochet has earned that right to have that happen in a match, to not just like be put away with like the first finisher or whatever. Like, I think that he's been doing such a good job in all of the matches that he's been doing over the past year or two, whatever, that I was okay with that happening, because not just because of that, but then also because then we got a longer match. And these two guys were putting on such a good match that I was like, can you never stop? Can like keep wrestling?
Please don't.
Like, never stop fighting. You know, like, this was so good. And Ilya, the thing that I loved about Ilya works his ass off in every match. Like, it doesn't matter. It means nothing. You know what I mean? This dude literally got bloodied on his head, and I think he bit his tongue.
Yeah, he did. I saw it.
Over a King of the Ring qualifying match. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't mean anything. He was just NXT champion. Like, he's bound to be WWE.
Oh, he's a world champion. World champion.
But, like, this dude was going so hard that he's bloody for a King of the Ring tournament. Like, bro. So good. So good.
This is a match that you show your friends who aren't wrestling fans, and they're like, yeah, I hear it's coming back, The Rock, cool, all that. You show them this match, they're like, okay, totally get it. I totally understand why you love this shit. Because the shit that they were doing was absolutely incredible. Yeah. Like, because you had, obviously, they're both incredibly athletic in different ways. You have Ricochet, who I think actually can fly. I really think if he has enough speed, he can fly. And then you have Ilya Dragunov, who I'm scared of that man sometimes. That I have to be. And the power that comes that he has with the chops and the H-bomb, like it was such a recipe for a 5-star meal, and that's the one thing that this King of the Ring tournament, I think, is going to highlight. If this was a match that they show and they're like, this is the King of the Ring, like this is what it's going to be. Because those two guys, you said it, you obviously Dragunov is gonna come out, he's gonna face Gunther, like we're prepared for that. But Ricochet is kind of making it seem like, no, it's mine. It's mine. That's what makes it a good match.
Yeah. I'm very excited to have Ilya on the main roster. I think people need to cheer for him more because, guys, what was going on? It wasn't like silent when he came out, but I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like, but there's time.
He's gonna get there. This is the situation where you have your there's different sects of even WWE fans, because you have the diehard WWE who watch NXT, who watch all the shit on Peacock and obviously the weekly shows. And then you have the main roster fans who tune in Monday and Friday nights to watch Raw and SmackDown. They're not going to know who Ilya is. So like, oh yeah, now they're just Russian dude. Or isn't there like a Gunther or someone else like him? No, you idiots. He's completely different.
Yeah.
This man breathes out smoke like a goddamn dragon. He is so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Jared in here. Ilya Dragunov has come full circle from NXT UK to NXT UK, NXT USA, and now main roster. Couldn't agree more. He's so good. Like, those chops, oh.
And I saw people complaining about it, so it's like fans are so annoying, and we say that all the time. But I saw people were complaining about like the type of wrestler that he is, and they're like, he just does the same thing. And like people will complain about it when it's another wrestler, but when it's him, it's okay. And I'm just like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it because I don't see that with Ilya. It's like they're gonna do some of the same things. Of course they are. They have a certain style, and then there's also like, I don't know, there's certain things that they do because that's identifiable to them. But people just want to be upset about everything. I swear. It's like you can't just enjoy a good match.
Yeah, you can bring a good point there. Because for me, the fan who says, oh yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Gunther or Dragunov or whoever, feels like they're just not a fan of that style of wrestling. Like they just don't care for it.
And it's fine, like if that's not your style, but it's kind of like, to me, that the thing that I don't understand is like, that's something that you can easily admit. Like there are people who literally don't like high flyers. That's fine. Yeah. Just say, I don't really like all the flipping. I don't like all of that. Like, it's just not my thing. Okay, that's fine. But like, then that's like a lot different than saying someone sucks or someone's boring. Like it's not the same thing. So you don't like Gunther and you don't like Ilya because, whatever reason. Sorry, I have an itchy nose. Like I have like a tickle around my nose. Anyway, so if you don't think that Gunther or Ilya are entertaining or something, that's fine. But to then equate that to they suck, that's the thing that I don't understand. So, yeah.
I'm with you. I don't understand it either, Sarah. I will never understand. Let's get into it.
So we see, okay, Braun was in a match against Chad Gable, and they were doing that thing, and we know that Sammy was going to get involved. Of course he was. Like, why wouldn't he get involved? Because that's what Chad has been doing. So it was his time to get involved. And because Sammy comes in and gets hands on Chad. The match ends in disqualification. He then gets German suplex. And, by the end, now know that a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship at King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, whatever they're calling it. And so we're finally going to see this come to a head. And but not really. Like, I'm just I don't know. I feel like I'm just not into this feud at all. Like, I'm just not interested, honestly. Like, I feel like heel turn needed for Chad Gable, but everything since then, I'm just kind of checked out. Like, I just not me in.
I'm into. I can see. Sorry, I can see that. Makes sense because this is like, all right, Sammy Gable, whatnot. I like the element of Bronson Reed in this because it's not just, oh, Sammy's gonna feud with Gable for this many months. It throws that wrench into it where Bron's like, no, I'm a beast. I deserve a title shot. Like, didn't he beat Sammy before Mania?
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, he beat. I'm like 90% sure when he was facing Bronson Reed before Gunther, Bronson Reed pinned him.
Oh, probably. I don't remember. That feels like so long ago.
So if that's the case, then it makes all sense in the world because Bronson Reed's like, well, I deserve a title match.
He's upset.
I pinned you.
Title, so
because he can't have it. He hasn't been able to have it.
Yeah.
He wants it. The man should be a title holder. I believe that at some point.
The problem, I think, is that Gunther had the title for so long, it feels like they can't just give it to Sammy and then have him lose it quickly. You know what I mean? I feel like it completely devalues what Gunther did and how big he made that championship. So it's like, it's going to become probably one of those titles that is going to be held hostage for a while. But even though I don't love that idea, I feel like you have to, because if you decide to take it off Gunther, you can't then have it become a hot potato. Like, you can't do that.
You can't. That would be not the best after a the longest reigning championship reign. You can't have that.
Should have just kept it on him. Like, because then how is it benefiting anybody by having it bounce around different people? That doesn't benefit people. So
no, and that's why it feels like they do this triple threat. You have them, obviously it's going to be a banger, but the triple threat has Sammy pin Bronson, Gable's looking off or whatnot, and then you have a chance to do a trilogy with this guy. I think they've only fought twice or once, so you do the second one in the few months or whatnot, build up for SummerSlam potentially. Like that feels like a good SummerSlam feud.
Yeah, but like probably has to have a stipulation.
Oh, 1,000% needs to have a stipulation.
Yeah,
I would agree. Ivar and Reed was better. I mean, yeah, dude. Who doesn't love big meaty men flipping and flopping around? I mean, that's a sentence. Kiana James and Dijak are on the main roster, but have yet to debut. Yes, because we are in the King of the Ring Raw, so you have to take it like it's Raw, but it's King of the Ring. So everything's really going to be either centered around the King of the Ring or the championship.
Well, and this Monday's Raw was the first Raw where the rosters were changed.
And locked.
Yeah, so that's like it's they've literally missed one Raw. So I wouldn't be concerned.
No, not at all. That's what, like, you have to think of the shows like, what's the theme to it? This theme was the King of the Ring. Is Kiana James or Dijak in the King or Queen of the Ring? No. So they're not going to be a focal point of the show at all. There's no need for them. They were backstage. Kiana James posted a picture looking like fine as hell. God, I love Kiana James. I've been a big fan of her since NXT. Her feud with Roxanne was fucking awesome. Like Braun Breaker. He's the only person I can think of where it's like he wasn't in the tournament, but they had him bring up why he wasn't in the tournament, and then Adam Pearce took him into his office before he could have a drink.
I know. I'm kind of wondering what that's going to be. Like, are they going to be like, okay, you're going into the SmackDown one? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what they do about that, but I don't. I'm kind of fine with Braun not being in it because I don't know who I feel would be okay for him to take out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know who he should replace, at least from the Raw guys that are in the match. Like, I don't know that I would be like, yeah, take Rey Mysterio out and put Braun Breaker in. It's like, why?
All right, so we have Gunther, Sheamus, obviously, Kofi, Mysterio, Dragunov, Ricochet, and then McIntyre. Yeah, no.
Yeah, because then the quarterfinals are Gunther versus Kofi or Rey, and then Jay versus Ilya.
Okay, so that's setting up Kofi, Gunther, because Ray's going to get taken out by somebody. Someone's going to turn on him again.
Carlito.
What if it's Cruz? What if Cruz is like, I've had it?
Oh.
Oh man, Ray can't catch a break. Yeah, let's go with this before we get into the banger, because I couldn't agree more, Sarah. I thought this was the most pointless of segments, other than to transition into Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah, I thought this was such a weird thing, like, because usually when they do something like this, when they're hyping up, like, oh, it's an in-ring interview with Michael Cole, like, there's usually a point to it. Like, they're addressing something that happened a week before, or, you know, they're going to announce something or whatever. Like, there's usually a reason for it. And this was nothing. And it felt like they didn't know what they were doing. Like, they were like, we just need Becky on the show, and then we'll just have this happen. Like, it's fine. Because they literally had her out there to talk about how she was at the Kentucky Derby. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, she seems like she didn't want. No, where'd you go?
Hi. Hello?
I just can't hear you. Yeah. Hello.
You can't hear me?
Hello. No, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
You can't see me.
Oh. So what were you saying? I couldn't.
Oh, the hat.
Yeah. It just felt weird. Like, I don't know. It didn't make any sense. It didn't add anything. Like, because then Liv comes out and is just like, I don't know why you didn't mention it. And it's like, really? Like,
that was bizarre. That was so weird for her to just come out and be like, oh, you did all this, but you didn't mention me. Yeah, did you not hear like what she was doing?
Yeah. So it's like they could have done something else to have officially announced that they were going to face off for the title at the pay-per-view. Like, this just, yeah, it was just weird, and I feel like this is just adding more to the hate that people have for Becky being called like Becky Hogan and whatever. Like, this is just adding more to it, because it did just feel like, why is this happening? It didn't need to happen. But
it's so funny you bring up Becky Hogan, because this segment felt like it was her reaction to all those Becky Hogan comments, and her not putting over talent online. Because if you listen to who Michael Cole listed off, they're all NXT.
mm-hmm.
And it was all about Becky talking about how great they were and putting them over.
Well, but then also, like, come on, guys. Like, she literally lost her title, her NXT title, to Lyra, who was, like, called up very early. I was surprised that she was called up in the draft this year. She could have waited. It could have been another 6 months or a year for her to be called up. Not because I don't think she's ready, but, like, she was just champion. Like, there was probably other things that she could have done. But it's like, you know, because a lot of people thought, like, Roxanne would be called up first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they want her.
But, and then look at Tiffany. I'm not saying that all of them benefited from Becky, and that's the reason why they're in the positions that they're in. But to act like Becky doesn't put talent over when your profile picture is Charlotte Flair. I'm sorry, but the irony is not lost on me. Like,
no, you're too good for that.
Yeah, come on now. Like, that's what Becky is doing. Like, people just don't see the bigger picture. They just want all of their favorites to have the title. And it's like, but we've been down that road before, you know? Like, look at what happened with Liv when she won the title. Everybody wanted her to be, you know, after she won Money in the Bank because people wanted her to win Money in the Bank. Then she cashes in because people wanted her to be champion. And then look what they did. It did nothing for her. It did nothing for her. So it's like, people need to get over the title defining somebody, or you know what I mean? Like,
no, that phrase, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, there's a reason why Becky won the championship when and where she did, and why it's going to be so much better for Liv when she takes it off of Becky. So
Dickie from the top ropes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Literally it. That's the other caveat.
Which is, again, another irony, right? Because she helped put Lyra over in NXT, but the people who hate Becky don't want to acknowledge that. You know, it's like, you don't have to like Becky. Like, I don't like Charlotte, but like, I think that when you have a certain criticism of somebody, it needs to be able to be backed up. You know, like if you're saying, oh, Becky doesn't put people over, prove to me why she doesn't put people over. You know, like, prove to me how she doesn't do that. If I say it about Charlotte, there's plenty of proof.
Plenty.
So,
plenty there.
Especially when we're talking about like recent, like the last 2 years of Becky's career. Not to mention people complaining about how she became champion again. She hasn't been champion in 2 years. In over 2 years, because Rhea held the world heavyweight or women's world title for a year, and Io just had it for nearly a year. Before that, Bianca had it for over a year. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we doing? Like, if you're going to say that you don't like somebody because of this and this and that, at least make it factual.
Yeah. Yeah, come with your facts.
Yeah.
Jay's coming at you.
Oh, why do you blame me? Okay, this is the thing. We talked about this. It is possible that I almost am guaranteeing she keeps it in Saudi. She's going to keep the title at King and Queen of the Ring. Liv is going to win it at either Clash at the Castle or SummerSlam. I think that's what it's going to be. I don't think Liv will win in Saudi in a few weeks. I don't think so. I think it needs to be drawn out. Clash at the Castle would be a good one because that is like mid to late June. So that would work for her. But if they want to try and put her at even a bigger one because it's like, you know, one of the big four, and it's at a stadium, they could do it at SummerSlam. But I think that we're going to be satisfied. Like, we need to see this progress, because then we also have seen the clips of Liv and Dominic, and we haven't seen what's going on there and what their plans are there. And I feel like we need to keep seeing that progression, because that is the easiest way, as I've said, and I'm going to say it forever. It's a hill I'm going to die on. It is the easiest way for Liv to get a ton of heat for when Rhea comes back, if she does something to manipulate Dominic or the Judgment Day or something. So
I need to see
make her into a massive heel. And so I think that's the best way to go about it. They have to. So just prepare for Liv to lose, but I do think when she eventually wins, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I echo that. I echo that. Giovanni Vinci, hello, is on SmackDown. So the question, Sarah, I feel like we need him to do that so that you can get in a present day point right at you. Like, imagine walking into your office room, whatever you got, and the first picture, because you talk about Gunther and Pretty Deadly earlier, but it's Giovanni Vinci.
I know. I should get his action figure, but I hate his action figure because they gave him no neck.
Oh, I hate when they give you no neck.
Yeah, like no neck. So I'm like, and I think it's an Imperium action figure, but I guess
so he's not.
Yeah, I don't think he had an NXT one. I could try to find it, but I don't know. I did get a comment on YouTube who they don't want that to happen. They do not want Vinci to go back to that gimmick. To an extent, I understand because it kind of can be like one dimensional. You know what I mean? Where he's like a model and he's just hot and he thinks he's like, you know, the hottest thing since sliced bread, whatever. Like it can get kind of flat. But they don't really have that anywhere right now, and I feel like with Vinci it went beyond that because he also thought he was like the best in the ring. So it wasn't just like, oh, you know, he wasn't like a maximum male models thing, you know what I mean? Like it went
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be opposed to that just because I think it would make the most sense instead of introducing something completely different. Because at least with this, for people who are NXT watchers, they're familiar with that part of Vinci's career, so it would make sense to them. But we'll have to see. I just hope I don't care really what they do as long as they do something with him and use him every week and allow him to actually speak and perform in the ring. I don't care. Like that's all I want. So
All we want, all we need, and all we need to do to close out the show is talk about this banger of a match. Sara, these guys fucking killed each other, huh?
yeah, and they did it literally like to the last second that they could. Like right when like Gunther won, it was like, okay, show's over. Like they went to the final second that they could. They were fighting from bell to bell. So we knew that we knew what this is going to be. You knew that it was going to be an incredible match. I was kind of not, I was excited about it, but not really just because we had seen it. We've seen Sheamus versus Gunther, but you kind of forget that there's certain wrestlers where it doesn't matter how many times they fight. It's good every single time. And it's not like, okay, we've been there, done that, you know, because there are some where that's the case. But these two are guys that's like I said earlier, can you fight forever? Can we
Literally.
like I would watch this every single week. Like that is just incredible and and they were both doing great stuff. It wasn't just oh Gunther was dominating or oh they're just trying to make Sheamus look good because he's back and he's been gone for so long. It was like no, there was pretty equal balance for both of them. And then of course, you know, Sheamus being another pale, pasty man, uh, much like my relatives, it always benefits in this type of match because you literally saw Gunther's
Oh
hand
my
on his back.
god. I was just about to say that was my favorite part of the match is when he whacked him in the back of the head. That was just oh, like you could feel that. You could feel it. I have been five. We used to 5-star when we were in middle school, whatever, and getting a 5-star anywhere in your body, you can oh, it's just I can feel the sting.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. So I really liked that this was the main event. I feel like it was of the matches, like, you know, Ilya and Ricochet could have main evented because their match was that good, but this just proved, you know, it's Sheamus and it's Gunther. So at least they're still like holding him in a high regard. And I think that of the matches, these were the ones that this was the one that people were looking forward to the most, and
Mm-hmm.
they delivered. So I appreciated it, and I don't know, I was sitting there just in awe. You know, this is just the type of wrestling that I like. Like I also like, of course, like luchador wrestling, but
Mm-hmm.
I
But this is
just
your favorite.
this, yeah, I love the hard hitting, like not having to do because it's so weird because when it comes to like high flying and stuff, it's like there's a time and place for that. I feel like, and it's like, but there are also people who know how to balance it in a match where it's not like okay there's so many flips and there's so many suicide dives in one match and it's like all right it's not cool anymore when every other move is a flip, you know what I mean? It's like there has to be a balance between like wrestling and the high flying and the hard hitting. And
Yeah.
with guys like Gunther and Sheamus, I'm like, yeah, I want to see the hard hitting, like ass kicking. That's what I want to see, and it's so good. So I was very pleased with that. Very excited. Gunther is moving on, and I think a lot of people wanting to see.
I did not hear a word you who.
What is that music?
Oh, you can hear it?
Yeah.
It's background music. It's on one.
No,
who do you?
Oh, I was saying, I said that a lot of people want to see the finals be Gunther and Ilya.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That would be. Oh, that might be a 5-star match if Dave Meltzer's feeling good.
Because then I'm like, do we want Gunther to be King of the Ring? I feel like I kind of dig that, because then if they really are going to give them a title shot, then he can have a title shot at Bash in Berlin.
Yes. Because that would be the next. That's next.
No, it's not.
After King of the Ring, I'm saying next.
No. Clash at the Castle is in June.
So then Bash at Berlin is in July.
Isn't it like in September?
Oh, then what? That's so far away. Hold on, let me look this up. When is Bash at Berlin?
I don't think it's in July.
I'm looking it up right now. Bash at Berlin WWE. Saturday, August 31st.
Okay, so yeah, it's like September. No, but I'm saying, like, I would be fine with that, because, like, I mean, especially if we want to say, like, oh, if we think that Drew is gonna win at Clash at the Castle, you don't want him to have it in June and get rid of it immediately.
Yeah, I also looked up the date for SummerSlam too. It's August 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have a that's way too close.
It's because I feel like they are having a hard time with, like, the scheduling of international shows, because it's like every time they do a Saudi show, it's only like 2 weeks or something before or after a different show. And it's like, it's the same thing with like Backlash. You know, Backlash is happening, and then like 2.5 weeks later, it's King and Queen of the Ring, and that's like SummerSlam, and then like 3-4 weeks later, you know, it's just very quick. But
there are a lot more quick turnarounds.
Yeah.
In WWE right now, which I like. Hey, I'm a big fan of it, especially now. You know what makes it easier too? We can take this off. You know what makes it easier too is the fact that it's all on Peacock or streaming service. You know, so that's another element that I feel would not have worked well back in the early days or early 2000s, even early 2010s, is because they're just on a streaming service. You can have you can have them be such a quick turnaround because you're not paying 50, 60 bucks out of pocket. It's just $9.99, or I think it's actually it's cheaper than what the WWE Network started out at now. So like, because of that, you can do a lot more stuff like this, and it's only benefiting everybody. It really is benefiting. Yeah, that's really all we got. But do we have any backlash thoughts before we wrap up here? Do we have any like backlash thoughts we want to get out? Because we weren't live.
Other than I'm obsessed with the Bloodline 2.0. I am so obsessed. I am loving what they're doing right now. I love how intense that match was against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Thank God they put in that stipulation. I don't think it would have been a bad match, but I was like, that just fit so well. And like, Kevin and Tama, for, I would say mostly, are willing to do whatever the hell they need to do to like make it such a good match. Because like, the things that they were doing, like,
it was very PWG. It was very PWG and
so good.
Ring of Honor.
And then, of course, had Camacho come back, which I had no idea. Like, I had no idea that he was Camacho. I had no idea.
I didn't either till you texted to me, and I
didn't know about it until, like, I knew of him, obviously, because they had already mentioned him and stuff, like, of him being Tama Tonga's brother.
Yeah.
But I did not know that he had already been in WWE as Camacho. So, and I'm one of those people who do remember Camacho because Unico and Camacho, I thought they were so funny. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So, I like that they brought him in first before Jacob Fatu because everybody thought it was going to be Jacob Fatu.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of cool. But then it also had me wondering, like, because we assume that it's going to be babyface Usos and Roman Reigns versus the new bloodline. But because they're bringing in Jacob Fatu, that makes 4. So I'm like, who's the 4th going to be in the original bloodline? Is it really going to be a babyface Rock?
No, it's me, Sami Zayn.
You think so?
I think they're going with the Sami Zayn. He's canoned.
I feel like he kind of has to, right? Like, that would be kind of sick.
He's canoned. He's part of the bloodline, honorary member, and that's long-term storytelling.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I'm like, I feel like it can't be The Rock, you know, because I feel like to keep heel Rock, especially when they're teasing a potential match between him and Cody, you know that Cody is not going to be a heel in a situation against The Rock. You know, that's just not going to happen. But then you also can't have babyface Rock versus babyface Cody Rhodes, so like that wouldn't work.
No, babyface Rock isn't coming back for a while.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about like next year.
But still, yeah.
But I would love for that to be Sammy. I feel like that would be hilarious. And people would get really behind it, I think, too, especially if we see maybe, you know, because if we're going to have a babyface Roman, he kind of like owns up to what he did was wrong and like kind of apologizes to Sammy.
Oh, that hug's going to be electric.
It would be so easy to get behind that. You know what I mean?
So did you hear that, or did you know that Tonga Loa, it's Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa? That is so confusing.
Yeah.
Did you know that he and Tama were part of the Gorilla God? They're like a New Japan, like one of the best New Japan tag teams in, you know, recent history. And I'm not gonna sit here and say like I know them, they do this move, blah, blah, blah. No, the only reason I know of these two are because they have one of the sickest theme songs I've ever heard. It was like it just came up because obviously I'm a psycho. I listen to wrestling theme songs throughout my day on just a shuffle, and this popped up. I'm like, "Yup, saved immediately." It fucking slaps. So I looked up one of their matches. They're pretty good. I was entertained. And Bulk, like,
I think it's exciting because I feel like Tama coming into WWE now is the perfect time, and I'm glad that Tonga Loa is getting like another chance to actually do something. You know what I mean? Like, basically when he was around the first time, all he did was ride a lowrider bicycle. That was like
that was so funny. There
was nothing else that they did with Camacho. So, especially because then Unico became Sin Cara. So then of course they had nothing for him. So I'm liking that, you know, he's getting another chance to do something. And I don't know, I'm obsessed. And I'm so glad that they had the bloodline win. They had to have that happen. And I'm really interested to see what is going to happen even more so now. And in Roman's absence. I think that they're doing a good job of making it entertaining.
Very entertaining. To say the least, it's so entertaining now. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for SmackDown. It's gonna be fucking unreal now. It's good. Things are good, looking up, and we got more than just the bloodline and Backlash and other stuff that we didn't get to today, obviously, because we got tomorrow. We got the Thursday show where it is the melting pot of all wrestling topics, news, whatnot. So be here or be square for that. 7:00 tomorrow. Today, I think I have to record and go down into the underground after this. I have not heard word if the champ is needed. But That's fine. If I'm needed, if I'm not. But you know what isn't fine? If you're not subscribed. All right. You gotta subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification to know every time we go live or post one of our clips from the show. Keeps you informed and boost those numbers. All right, let's get these numbers up so Sarah and I can do this for a living, and we don't have to skip days on recording. We skip hours on recording. There's a difference. So help us get to that point by joining us tomorrow for the actual wrestling show. And in the meantime, follow us on all those social media platforms down below because we have so many and we do a lot. It's hard to keep track and say in my head. It's all in that one central location for you. So thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We'll see you mañana. Yeah.